My ex-boyfriend cheated on me. My mom liked him so much she invited him to Christmas after we broke up, fully knowing what he did. I refused to go. She said, "That's your choice." I honestly don't know who I'm more angry with, my mom, my ex, or myself for not seeing any of this coming. I've finally decided to write it all out because I still feel like I haven't fully processed betrayal, not just from my ex, but from my own family. So here it is from the beginning. I, 29F, was in a relationship with Jake, 31M, for almost 4 years. We met through mutual friends during a camping trip. The classic cliche of me hating the outdoors and him showing me how to pitch a tent and make decent coffee with a camp stove. He had that laid-back, disarming personality that made you feel like he'd known you forever. I was fresh out of a bad breakup, and he was a breath of fresh air. The first 2 years were solid. We moved in together about 10 months in. Things felt easy. He got along great with my family, especially my mom, which I now realize might have been a bit too well. She adored him. I mean, borderline creepy levels of adoration. He was everything my mom thought I needed. Stable, grounded, good with tools. She said like she was matchmaking a Jane Austen novel. My mom, 58F, and I have always had a complicated relationship, not toxic, but transactional. Love always had conditions, even if they were unspoken, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The first cracks in our relationship showed up around year 3. Jake started getting distant, not in a dramatic, ghosting way, more like emotionally foggy. He stopped asking me about my day, started spending more time at the gym, which turned into late-night drinks with the guys, which slowly evolved into coming home at 2 a.m. a few nights a week. I confronted him gently at first. He always had excuses. Work stress, needing space. I chalked it up to burnout. The sex slowed down too, but not in a mutual, we're growing together kind of way. More like I felt invisible. He'd give me pecks on the forehead and call me babe, but it was hollow. I still remember the night everything snapped into focus. I'd borrowed his laptop because mine was updating just to check an email. Harmless, right? What I found gutted me. His Gmail was still logged in. I wasn't snooping. I swear on my life I wasn't trying to dig. But a chat popped up in the corner from someone saved as Lynn's kiss mark. My heart dropped. I opened the chat history, and what I read felt like the floor vanished under my feet. Weeks, maybe months, of messages. Some flirty, some graphic, some romantic in a way he hadn't been with me in over a year. She worked at his gym. They'd started hooking up sometime during the summer, and it was way past just sex. There were I love yous, vacation plans, inside jokes. He called her his real piece. What crushed me most was a message where he said, "I'm only still with her because of her mom. It's complicated." Like I was a charity project. Like my mom's affection somehow tied him to me. I felt like I was going to throw up. He came home later that night, and I didn't even wait. I showed him the messages. No yelling, no screaming. I just showed him. He froze, then gave the most pathetic defense I've ever heard. "It's not what it looks like." Really? Because it looked like you're building a second life with someone who isn't me. He didn't deny it for long. Said things had been off between us. That he'd fallen out of love, but didn't know how to leave. That he didn't want to hurt me or my mom. Oh, my mom. That woman was his second go-to defense. Apparently, he was closer to her than anyone, and didn't want to lose her either, like she was part of the breakup package. I told him to get the hell out. He didn't argue. The next few weeks were numb. I moved out of our shared apartment and into a friend's spare bedroom. I went through all the stages. Crying rage, bargaining, shame. The thing I didn't expect was the awkward silence from my mom. When I finally told her Jake cheated, I thought she'd react like any protective mother would. But she just blinked, then said, "That doesn't sound like Jake." She actually said that, like I was slandering her favorite TV character. I told her I'd seen the messages. She said I must have misunderstood, that men go through rough patches and not everything is black and white. I was stunned. I hung up on her. She texted me later saying, I hope you two can work it out. Don't throw away years over one mistake. I didn't respond. She didn't reach out again. Fast forward a few months. I've moved into my own place. I've started therapy. I'm doing better, not great, but stable. Around late November, I get a group text from my mom. Christmas tree wrapped gift, hey family. Christmas dinner is on the 24th. Usual time. Can't wait to see you all. RSVP so I can get a head count for food. Wrapped gift Christmas tree. There's about 10 of us. Mostly cousins, my younger brother, and a couple family friends. I reply that I'll be there. A week later, I get a private message from my cousin Emily, 25F. Hey, is it true Jake's coming Christmas? I almost dropped my phone. I immediately call her. She tells me that during a call with my mom, Jake's name came up casually, like, oh yeah, and Jake will be joining us again this year. I hung up and called my mom. I tried to keep my voice even, but I was shaking. Me, Mom, is Jake seriously coming to Christmas? Her, nonchalantly, yes. Why wouldn't he? Me, because we're not together anymore. Because he cheated on me. Her, that's between you two. He's still family to us. Me, no, he's not. He's my ex, who betrayed me. Her, you don't just throw people away over one mistake. And he's like a son to me. Me, so your daughter doesn't matter? Her, don't be dramatic. You're always so emotional. That last line broke something in me. She wasn't just inviting him out of ignorance. She knew, and she didn't care. Or worse, she cared more about him than me. I told her if he was invited, I wouldn't be coming. She said, that's your choice. The family group chat went awkwardly silent after that. A few days later, my brother texted me saying Mom told everyone I was boycotting Christmas over drama. Like I was some unstable attention seeker. No one else reached out to get my side of the story. Not one cousin. Not even Emily after that first message. Christmas came and went. I spent it alone with my dog and a bottle of wine. I didn't cry. I was too tired for that. A week later, I saw pictures on Facebook. Jake smiling next to my mom, arms slung around her like he belonged. Like I never existed. Like my heartbreak was an inconvenience everyone had agreed to ignore. I haven't spoken to my mom since that call. Sometimes I think about reaching out. Other times I wonder if she'd even care if I didn't. What kind of mother chooses a cheating ex-boyfriend over her own daughter? What kind of family pretends betrayal is just a rough patch? And what kind of person am I that I keep replaying the story in my head, wondering if I was the one who overreacted? It took me a while to accept that she wasn't bluffing. When my mom said, that's your choice, I genuinely thought it was one of those guilt trip statements she'd walk back within a few days. You know, the kind where they wait for you to panic, then offer a half-baked olive branch. Something performative enough to appear like they tried, but still let them win. But she never called back. She never texted to say, you're right, this was unfair. She never asked if I was okay spending Christmas alone. She never apologized. Instead, it was radio silence from my own mother. And that silence said everything. The days after that phone call were some of the most mentally confusing ones of my life. There's something almost surreal about being betrayed by someone who's supposed to protect you. My grief wasn't just about Jake anymore. It was about my mom choosing him. Publicly, comfortably, without shame. The worst part? The math she had to do in her head. She knew inviting him would hurt me. There's no way she didn't know that. And she still did it. She didn't even deny it. She minimized it. You're always so emotional. He's still family to us. You don't just throw people away. Apparently, that rule didn't apply to me. Update. I wish I could say I let it go. I wish I could write some poetic paragraph about how I healed, moved on, and rose above the wreckage, that I became a better version of myself, and didn't let the betrayal change me. But that would be a lie, because something inside me did change. I didn't just lose trust in my ex. I didn't just lose faith in my family. I lost a core piece of myself, the belief that blood meant something. And when that piece died, something else started growing in its place. Anger. And yeah, eventually, revenge. It started with a voicemail. My mom's birthday was in early March, about 2 months after Fallout. I had no intention of calling her, but part of me still hoped maybe she would reach out, even just to fight. Something. Instead, on her birthday, she left me a voicemail. She sounded chipper. Too chipper. Hey, sweetheart. Just wanted to say I miss you. I hope you're doing okay. I really wish you'd come around, but I understand if you're not ready. Jake made me this amazing lemon cake today. You know, the one you love. We were just talking about you and how strong you've always been. Click. I didn't even listen to the rest. They were celebrating her birthday together, baking my favorite cake, and talking about how strong I was. That was the moment I snapped. You can call it petty, immature, toxic. I don't care. I decided I wasn't going to let them get away with rewriting history. Like, I didn't matter. I wasn't going to let Jake play the golden boy, while my own mother co-signed his lies. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to scream. I was going to burn them with facts. So I came up with a plan, not impulsive, not explosive. Something calculated. Clean. With receipts. I didn't even mean to see the photos. I had blocked Jake on everything. But my mom's Facebook profile was still public. I hadn't unfollowed her yet. I'd been avoiding her page since the fallout. But one evening I gave in and looked. Big mistake. There they were. My entire extended family sitting around a dinner table like nothing was wrong. Jake was in 2 photos, once at the table beside my uncle and once posing with my mom, holding out a glass of wine, both grinning like they'd won something. My mother had the audacity to caption it. Family, food, and forgiveness. Revolving Hearts Christmas tree. Forgiveness? The word echoed in my head like a gunshot. She was making a statement. That this wasn't just a dinner. This was a narrative she was curating. I was the angry daughter who couldn't let go. Jake was the repentant son she had chosen to forgive. She was reframing history in real time. I stared at that photo for a long time, hands shaking. Then I blocked her. I thought maybe one of my cousins, maybe Emily, maybe Liam, my closest cousin growing up, would reach out, not even to take sides, just to say, hey, what really happened? But no one did, not a single person. It was like I had become radioactive, an emotional hazard they didn't want to get involved with. They bought into the narrative that I was being dramatic or couldn't let go. My own brother, my own freaking brother, sent me a text that said, Mom's really upset. Maybe you should just talk to her. Jake being there wasn't that deep. I didn't even reply. I knew if I did, I'd say something I couldn't take back. So instead, I grieved my family the way you grieve a death. And in a way, it was one. Here's something I haven't mentioned yet. My mom and Jake were close. Like, weirdly close. It started normal. Him fixing her sink, helping her carry heavy boxes, driving her to medical appointments if I was working. But it grew into something more than just a helpful boyfriend dynamic. She'd call him to vent about her life, sometimes for hours. They shared long text chains I never got to read. They had inside jokes. Once, she told me, half joking, but not really, if you two ever break up, I'm keeping Jake. At the time, I laughed, but it didn't sit right with me. After the breakup, I realized I'd been competing with my own mother for emotional real estate, and she'd won. About a month after Christmas, mid-January, I was at a bookstore when my phone lit up with a message from my cousin Emily. Hey, I wasn't supposed to say anything, but I think you deserve to know. Jake's been coming around a lot more. Like, a lot. I froze. My stomach turned. Me, to my mom's place? Emily, yeah, since like New Year's. They're close. Me, like together? Emily, I don't know. It's weird. He called her his person at dinner last week. I thought it was a joke, but it anymore. I dropped the phone. Literally. It slipped from my hand and hit the floor in the middle of the aisle between the self-help and poetry sections. I didn't pick it up for a full minute. I hadn't spoken to my mom since Christmas, but after Emily's message, I couldn't stay silent. I called her. She didn't answer. I called again. No answer. So I sent a text. Short, brutal. Are you sleeping with Jake? She replied 5 hours later. That's not your business anymore. Not, no, not how dare you. Not even a lie to soften the blow. Just, that's not your business anymore. I threw my phone across the room. I sat in silence for a long time after that, because something clicked that hadn't before, a possibility I didn't want to consider, but now couldn't ignore. What if she'd always had feelings for him? What if he cheated not in spite of our relationship, but because of what was happening between them? What if they'd been emotionally involved before the affair started? I went down the rabbit hole. I remembered all the late-night phone calls, the way she defended him, the time he fixed her car on our anniversary, because she said it was an emergency.